There are many ways to manipulate the graphical display of elements in Revit projects. It's really important to begin with a good understanding of the overall defaults used in your project at the top level of the display hierarchy before you go in and start modifying things at an override level. So for example, the previous movie called Object Styles, you want to start there and make sure that you have an understanding of what's controlling the overall graphics first, and then, if need be, you can come in and start manipulating graphics at a particular view-by-view level. So in this lesson, we have a file here called Visibility Graphics, and we're going to look at a few examples where you might want to make some changes to some of your views that are a little bit different than the way they're displaying in other views. This floor plan is showing me furniture, it's showing me electrical fixtures, and it's showing me some dimensions and some other things. You may want to have a separate electrical power plan and a separate furniture plan. So to do that, what you need to do is learn how to duplicate existing views and then how to change the graphical settings of those views so that they look different from one another. I'm in level 1 floor plan, and if I select the floor plan, I can right click on it, and there's a duplicate view, and there's actually 3 different options. We're going to focus on the first 2 in this movie. If you just simply do duplicate, you're going to get a copy of level 1 that only shows model geometry and none of the annotations. So there's no dimensions here, there's no room tags, and in some cases that may be exactly what you want. If I go back to level 1 and do right-click, duplicate with detailing, copy 2 of level 1, this is an exact copy of level 1, including all annotation, all door tags, window tags, room tags, and dimensions. So that's the first step, is deciding whether or not you want to start with the annotation from the previous view or whether or not you want to remove that. Now, if you need some of the annotation and not all of it, you're still going to want to do duplicate with detailing in most cases and then just remove the annotation you don't want. So in this example, I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to right-click it again and choose Rename, and I'm going to call this Furniture Plan. But I probably ought to say Level 1 Furniture Plan. So this is going to be my Level 1 Furniture Plan. And the first thing I want to do is I want to clean it up a little bit. I do want to see the room tags, but not really any of the other tags. So I'm going to make a big old selection around the entire floor plan, and that highlights everything. Then I'll click my filter button, check none, and I want to only select the stuff I want to delete. Door tags, dimensions, window tags. Now, deleting dimensions, this is not model geometry, so it's only being deleted from this view. If I go back to the original level 1 view, you can see that I still have all of the dimensions and tags intact over here. So let me return to the furniture plan. So now we've gotten rid of the tags we want. Now, unlike tags, if I were to delete electrical fixtures, they would be deleted everywhere. So that we don't want to do. We want to take a different approach here. So here, we're going to actually hide the electrical fixtures in this view only, as opposed to deleting them. Now, there's a couple ways we can do that. We can do it with the Visibility Graphics dialog, and I'd like to show you that way first. So we're going to go to the View tab. We're going to click on Visibility Graphics. Notice that the shortcut for that is VG. You'll be using Visibility Graphics quite often, so you probably want to get the hang of using the shortcut for this, VG. And I would go down and I would find electrical fixtures, and I would simply uncheck the box. That will make those items invisible in this view only. Now again, this is a view-specific change. If I return to level 1, you can see that electrical fixtures are still visible here. So I'll go back to the furniture plan, and everything looks pretty good. And so I'm confident that this is the plan that I want. So I'm going to be comfortable with this one. Let's do one more example. I'm going to right-click level 1, duplicate it with detailing, rename it. Now call this level 1 power plan. Now here I'll show you an alternative to the method I just showed you to hide things. Once again, I'm going to select everything, filter, check none, and delete dimensions, door tags, and window tags. Your alternative, of course, is to duplicate without detailing and then re-add your room tags. Some might argue that it's just as easy to do that as it is to do the method that I'm showing, but I think it's a 6 of one, half dozen of the other proposition, so I'll leave that up to you. Now here, I want to see the electrical fixtures, but perhaps I don't want to see the furniture. So I could go to VG and uncheck furniture, or I can select one of my furniture items, and up here on the ribbon, there's this little light bulb icon for hide in view, and if I click on that, it's actually a drop down, and we can hide 2 ways. If I were to just choose the first one, hide elements, we'll talk about that in a future movie, that would only hide this one table. But if I use this one, hide category, and you can see the shortcut for that is VH, that will hide everything that shares the category of the item I have selected, which is furniture in this case. So that will hide all the furniture. And that would be exactly the same as if I type VG and uncheck the furniture box. You notice how it's just done it for me. So that can be sometimes a little bit quicker if you know that you just want to hide items like the one that you have selected. So you end up in the same place. You have both of those methods. Now I'm going to undo. Perhaps instead of hiding the furniture, what you'd actually like to do is just make the furniture a little bit less obvious. Let's halftone it, for example. I can do the same thing. I can go to VG and make the modification, or right below the little light bulb, there's a little paintbrush icon. I'm going to choose that, and we have override by category. Now, when I select that, that will take me to VG automatically and highlight the furniture item for me. So it's a little quicker than my typing VG and then going to find that category, particularly if you're not sure which category something is. Now, it's pretty obvious that this was furniture, but who knows? Maybe in some cases you might want to just be sure. All I have to do is check the halftone box right here, and when I click OK, you'll see that instead of disappearing, all the furniture drops back to 50% gray, and so it's a little bit less obvious, but it might be helpful to have the furniture nearby so that the guys laying out the electrical outlets kind of know where to put the power and so on. So those are a few different methods you have to modify the graphics of your various views at a view-by-view level. And again, I really want to remind you, if I go back to level 1, that all the changes we made only affected that view. So unlike object styles, which was a global change, these changes are view by view by view. Very powerful indeed.